Money usually feels predictable. You buy food. You pay rent. You plan next month. Trade keeps shelves full. Factories run. Ships move. The system feels steady. Nothing feels urgent. Life moves smoothly. Stability feels normal. Until something small changes. Prices move faster. Jobs feel less secure. Choices shrink quietly. No alarms. No crisis is announced. No collapse is declared. But daily life tightens. People blame inflation, leaders, headlines, noise. But the cause sits deeper, underneath systems. Why do some countries absorb pressure while others pass it directly to families, markets, workers, savings? Stability bends or breaks depending on structure, not luck. It depends on what a country produces, what it must import, how exposed it becomes when trade slows, capital moves, confidence thins under strain quietly. To understand why stability feels real in some places, fragile elsewhere, we look beneath daily life, AT structures shaping work, production, security, demand, expectations, belief. Before money mattered, something else decided stability: production. Making food, tools, energy, materials shaped survival, routines, confidence, long before finance felt powerful or visible everywhere. When production is steady, life feels predictable. Jobs exist, skills grow, plans form. People trust tomorrow because shelves refill, paychecks arrive, systems repeat reliably daily. When production weakens, confidence fades quickly. Money still circulates, but anxiety rises. Prices wobble, jobs feel fragile, and planning shrinks into short-term survival modes everywhere. This is why money follows production, never leads it. You can print currency instantly, but factories, skills, supply chains, and trust require time and patience. Countries that understand this focus quietly on making things continuously. Over time, production becomes invisible, taken for granted, until disruption reveals how essential it was. Production isn't exciting or glamorous. It grounds reality. When it slows, economies drift, confidence thins, and people feel instability before charts ever react viscerally first. Producing for yourself builds stability. Producing for others builds influence. Trade extends local production into the world, shaping economies far beyond borders silently but persistently. When others rely on your goods, orders continue even during downturns. Demand persists. This reliability makes your economy resilient, anchored by external systems that reinforce continuity. Trade networks create habits. Ports, logistics, contracts all learn rhythm and predictability. Continuity becomes expected. Dependable producers gain structural advantage, quietly embedding themselves in global flows. Trust forms naturally. Buyers adjust their planning around suppliers they rely on. That trust becomes leverage, subtle, indirect, structural, shaping influence without aggressive enforcement. During disruptions, priority shifts toward embedded producers. Export-driven economies feel stress later, not immediately. Trade redistributes pressure, buying time. Crisis becomes manageable, not catastrophic, initially. Trade doesn't remove risk, it spreads it. Producers embedded globally absorb shocks. That redistribution gives economic systems breathing space, the most valuable resource during crises. Production paths differ. Some countries extract resources, others assemble, some specialize. Saudi Arabia, Germany, China, and the US each build systems suited to their strengths and markets. Saudi Arabia converts natural resources into global dependence. Germany transforms precision manufacturing into a reputation of quality. China scales production into structural inevitability across markets worldwide. The United States blends production with services, logistics, and consumption. Each approach differs outwardly, but all create relevance. Relevance attracts trade, which stabilizes income and institutions. People feel production's strength in daily life. Strong systems make employment secure, prices steady, confidence persistent. Weak or import-dependent systems transmit anxiety immediately to households. External supply disruptions affect producer economies differently. Embedded systems bend under pressure before breaking. Shocks are absorbed gradually. Dependence without leverage amplifies fragility and household impact. No model is perfect. Over-reliance on one product risks collapse. Lack of production creates dependence. Its consequences appear in household choices, planning, and confidence long before headlines. Production rarely collapses overnight. It erodes slowly. Factories age, skills stagnate, and investment decelerates. At first, life seems normal, goods still arrive, and daily routines continue. Behind the surface, systems shift. Jobs become temporary. Wages plateau. Governments increase spending. Debt rises. Currencies begin to wobble. Stability feels manufactured, not earned, and people sense subtle changes. Confidence depends on production. When capacity declines, support becomes artificial. People delay plans, save differently, and worry about work more than prices, adjusting behavior before economic theory explains it. Countries often treat symptoms, not causes: inflation, unemployment, or currency weakness. Without repairing production, interventions only temporarily mask fragility. Systems appear alive, but structural risk remains. Loss of production turns economic stress into social stress. Communities feel scarcity, opportunity narrows, and daily life becomes unpredictable. Anxiety spreads quietly across households and markets. Once production falters, trust erodes. Recovery is slower, costlier, and politically sensitive. Effort feels unsupported, and confidence must be rebuilt from the ground, not patched from above. When production weakens, dependency quietly replaces it. At first, dependency feels efficient. Imports are cheaper. Choices expand. Shelves stay full. Life appears easier and flexible. Over time, control shifts outward. Decisions made elsewhere shape daily life at home. Prices react to foreign shocks. Stability depends on systems no longer locally managed. Supply chains stretch thin. A strike, conflict, or shipping disruption suddenly feels personal. What once seemed distant becomes immediate, affecting fuel, food, work, and planning. Import-reliant economies learn affordability depends on stability they cannot control. Vulnerability grows without collapse. Money still moves, but confidence becomes conditional and fragile. Governments shift from creating value to protecting access. They negotiate instead of producing. Policy choices narrow. Every decision carries trade-offs that citizens feel indirectly. Dependency does not mean poverty. It means exposure. And as global systems fragment and compete, exposure grows riskier, shaping costs, security, and everyday uncertainty. When global stress rises, producer economies absorb pressure instead of avoiding it. Systems slow but remain intact. Exports pause. Governments gain space to manage without panic. Workers feel strain, not collapse. Wages pause instead of vanishing. Production capacity allows temporary adjustments. Industries pivot, employment continues, and the economy cushions shocks before they reach households. Internal capacity lets countries negotiate from strength. Essential goods are redirected, support industries activated, and systemic adjustments spread shocks across networks instead of striking citizens directly. Some nations experience long, uncomfortable adjustments. Pain feels manageable. Growth slows. Citizens complain, but engagement continues. Frustration is contained within institutions, not households, preserving broader confidence. Fragile systems contrast sharply. Shocks bypass institutions and hit families immediately. Stress spreads quickly, accelerating distrust and loss of belief. Behavior changes faster than policy can respond. Structure, not discipline or intelligence, makes the difference. Strong production networks absorb shocks. Weak systems transmit force directly to citizens, amplifying frustration, instability, and long-term risk. Trade can stabilize economies, but also transmit stress. Export-heavy nations feel global demand shifts first. Orders drop. Inventory rises. Competition grows. Pressure flows inward through connected systems. Countries dependent on narrow exports face choices: lower prices or lose markets, accept smaller margins, or pause production. Decisions ripple through businesses and governments simultaneously. Unlike import dependence, export stress arises from exposure to global cycles, not loss of control. Productive capacity remains. Adjustments are possible. Flexibility and strategy shape outcomes. Export economies can diversify markets, shift output, and evolve strategies. Single product dependence strains under stress. Flexibility allows bending rather than breaking. Skills and infrastructure adapt accordingly. Trade pressure reshapes domestic priorities. Societies reorganize around what they sell globally. Infrastructure, logistics, and skills evolve to support continuity, creating resilience alongside sensitivity. Global systems amplify both strength and weakness. When one economy slows, interconnected nations feel impact. Trade links create interdependence, spreading shocks and stabilizing or stressing partners simultaneously.